Good evening, everybody. Happy Mondays with Max. Good to see you all. Hope you guys are all doing well and having a really great day. Alrighty, that was obviously a Panda reference. But anyway, all right, let's see who is here tonight. And maybe even pop up some of their comments as I announce them. Canadian Miner is here. Good to see you, sir. And yes, I was kind of like, I don't know what to talk about tonight. It's been a busy weekend. I'll talk a little bit about that as well. Anyway, and yes, he meant only flans. Yes, I knew what you meant. Chuck Danger, how are you? Geek of All Trades, glad you love the smirk. Thank you very much. It's a last minute thing. Stephen Cicero, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. 4J and Alexander Fleener and Crypto Perks. Yeah, I was not aware about 2.2.3 SRB miner today. So I appreciate you letting me know that. I wrote that down in my notes. I'll be probably doing that after the stream. I have 5700 XT, so I'm not sure if there was any improvement on those on Dynex. So for those people that don't know, SRB miner is used for mining Dynex. Real Living Investing, good to see you, sir. Appreciate you being here, and we'll talk about that question here in a little bit. Let's see. Aragorn Strider, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And of course, as always, thank you, Second TL, for being here. Let's see, who else haven't I hit? Bacon, Eggs, and Hash. Hey, what's going on? And yes, I use Koinly. Why you can't log in, that I can't explain. Maybe change your password? I don't know. King Mining, how are you? All set mining. Good to see you, sir. And I know there's gonna be a lot. I know that my wife announced that my birthday was tomorrow. And I know you guys are all debating on how old I actually am. And I will allow that to be like a complete, maybe I should put up a poll to see how many people, and that way it's anonymous. That way I can actually see. Oh, you already told them how old I was?
Yeah.
Oh, anyway. Anyway. Mr. Overboard Tech, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Golden Wolf. And of course, Sunflower Mama, thank you for being here. She will be helping out. Hobbyist, you flatter me. Obviously, I am not 40. All right, let's see who else is here. Automatic Beats, good to see you. Eric Scherzinger, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. 40 is the new 30. Yeah, not 40. Paddywhack Miner. Let's see. Mustard Mountain Mining, welcome. Don't remember seeing you here before, so I appreciate you being here. Integra Guy, good to see you, sir. Fried Electronics, good to see you. Burn, you thought I was 39. Yeah, I'm 39 for the 16th time. There you go. And Todd Thiebaud, I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name, but sorry for butchering your name, but welcome. Appreciate you being here. Penguin Zombie, good to see you. Joker Miner, good to see you, sir. And Ray is mining. Patrick Guyan, the troll. Not quite as nice of a troll as Mining King, though. But anyway, good to see you, Patrick. Let's see who else is here. Crypto Crag. I have not gotten that. Maybe I should just let you pronounce that name. RC, good to see you, sir. Cherish. Pineapple pizza. Just get out. Get out. There's no such thing as pineapple pizza. Let's see. Sloth Squatch. D Miners, good to see you. Been a bit since I talked to you. Mining Meister. Jean-Francois Aubin. All right, she said I was pretty close. She did it much better than I did. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. Eric Reitz. Okay, last person. Alrighty, sirs. And okay, so I did actually write down a few things to talk about before I get into some of the AMA. So it's been a very interesting weekend. So I was all excited about this weekend thinking I'm going to get some rest. I'm going to have some fun. Yeah, I stayed up late Friday playing with friends, figuring I'd be able to sleep in. That didn't happen. Person that works for me didn't show up to work. So I get a call saying, hey, so-and-so hasn't shown up to work. I'm like, crap. So quick half-hour drive later, I'm at work and covering that shift. And finally hear from the person that works for me after I call an emergency contact because I'm getting worried at this point. He overslept by 7 hours. Yeah. So anyway, none too pleased about that. So because I had plans to go with Sunflower Mama to go get her phone fixed. And so there are a couple of key things with that. But so she basically had to do that herself, but she didn't have a phone. Anyway, long story short, we got all that figured out. She's getting a warranty phone tomorrow, which is a free upgrade. But got all that figured out, and then actually Sunday was when I figured all that out. But yeah, she took her phone to. For those people that don't know, if you have a Google phone, you can go to uBreak or Assurion, and they will fix it there as long as it's under warranty. They just fix it at no charge. So that's great. But we had that done once before with her phone, and her phone prior to this had her screen go out, but that time it was the display. This time it's the motherboard. So they're very short Google Pixel 5a motherboards. So the guy at the uBreak iFix said, you might want to call and see what Google's willing to do. So I got on the chat yesterday, and because he says, they might send you a more updated model and you get a free upgrade out of it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I basically got in there and said, hey, can't find any motherboards. It's at uBreak iFix. What can you do? And after kind of a bunch of things going back and forth, and basically said, yeah, we can send you out a new one. And I'm like, well, you're going to send out a Pixel 5a, or are you going to send out something else, because aren't you guys short those? And they're like, yeah, we're going to send you out a Pixel 6a. So she's going to get a refurbished 6a, or maybe even a new one. I don't know, but she's getting a 6a. So she gets a free upgrade out of the deal. So that at least is a positive. And we did have an old Google Pixel 3a for her to use in the meantime. So she didn't have a phone because her phone was dead. So I had called uBreak iFix, said, hey, make sure you hand her SIM card. And unfortunately they didn't do that. So after I got off of work, I had to drive down there, which was like a half hour out of my way. Actually an hour out of my way, but because it's there and back. But anyway, so I got her SIM card after work, and then got her all set up on the Google Pixel 3a, and so she has a phone to use for now. But anyway, that was pretty interesting in the fact of finding out that her 1.5 year old phone was under warranty by Google because there was a problem with the phone, or the known problems with the phone. So they extended the warranty out to 2 years. And now she's getting a new Pixel 6a as a result. So not so bad. I like Google, and the customer service that we received was excellent. Grow to appreciate good customer service. That's for sure. So thank you, Google. Very much appreciate that. And then I found out, got a call from my dad saying that his iPhone 6s, yes, he's on a 6s, and it still works for him. So anyway, he needs a new battery in his phone. So we, Sunflower Mama ran around today trying to figure out what to do with that. We had made an appointment, but they don't have the battery, so they have to order it. So anyway, battery's on order, so we're going to get that fixed sometime this week. But in the meantime, his phone works. But yeah, that was my Sunday. It was kind of figuring out what we were doing with phones and all that jazz. Anyway. Yeah, I'm getting back to crypto. All right, well, let's touch on actually a question. One of the questions that in the chat was, can you deduct the cost of your GPUs if you don't have a business, if you're not filing your taxes as a business? So the answer to that question, as I understand it, I am not a tax advisor, but I've done personal research into this, and this is what I have found on what I believe to be true. But again, I'm not a tax advisor. Do not take my tax advice. Do your own research. But anyway, with all that disclaimer aside, with hobby, no, you only have to claim the income, of course, but you cannot claim the deductions because it's a hobby. So if you make money off of a hobby, you have to, it's a little bit different. If there's like a cost of materials, I think with a hobby, I think you can take that against the income. Maybe, I don't know, that part I don't know. But in this particular case, the hobby is not like a cost of materials that went into the product. It's just what you need in order to do it. So yeah, the GPUs are not deductible in this case if you do it as a hobby. If you do it as a business, it is deductible. So the key though is that a lot of people think of a business that it has to be an LLC or a corporation. It doesn't. You can be a sole proprietor. What that means is that you have to fill out a Schedule C. And it will say, what is your line of business? And you basically put what your line of business is and what you call it. And if you don't have a name for it, put your own name down. It's not overly complicated. It can be overly complicated. There's a lot of hidden deductions and things like that you can take as a business, especially running it out of your own home. Yeah, I'm not going to get into all the intricacies of that, but yeah, in order to take any kind of deductions with mining, you need to run it as a business. And I highly recommend, even if you don't have an LLC or a corporation, there's no reason not to actually run it as a business. So highly recommend that. Okay, so with that question out of the way.
Claiming as a hobbyist, then how do you deduct electricity costs?
If you do it as a hobby? That's what he said. Yeah, you can't claim anything. If it's a hobby, you can't claim anything, as I understand it. It has to be run as a business. So yeah, as far as the question was about claiming electricity, yeah, my understanding is you can't claim anything as expenses. Again, I'm not a tax advisor. You may want to talk to your tax accountant regarding it. But yeah, my understanding is there's severe limitations when it comes to hobby. It made me think, why does anybody claim anything as a hobby? Why wouldn't you claim it as a business? Now, I know that there are certain rules that you have to abide by in order to make it a business, and that I'm not sure of. I know I met those rules. But anyway, it's every person's situation is different. But yeah, you'd want to look into the rules of hobby versus business. So, okay. What to talk about next? I guess the one thing we'll talk about that came up this morning is, so who thinks that Bitcoin is going to $1 million in 90 days? If you do, raise your hand and get the hell out of here. I wish it went up to $1 million in 90 days. That isn't happening. Even if the dollar collapses, Bitcoin's not going to $1 million in 90 days. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. It would have to be, I mean, obviously, if the dollar collapses, it would be unprecedented anyway, but not that unprecedented. It's not going to $1 million. Yes, do we have some banking problems? Yes, we do. They're being addressed. And it's not as bad as 2008 banking issues. These are different types of banking issues, which are nowhere near as severe as they were in 2008. So, anyway. Thank you. And that was, who was that? Drex123. Thank you for that. Drex says, yeah, you cannot take deductions if you are doing it as a hobby, or you basically claim it as a hobby. So yes. So I guess thank you for confirming that. I appreciate that. Alrighty. So I went over the phone issues, went over the Bitcoin. Oh, one thing I was gonna, as we start heading into summer, it actually is getting to the point where it's becoming nice to have solar energy, because I'm gaining more per day than I have been. I know that first couple of months of the year there isn't that much energy that's being done, but let me find my screenshot, because I had to take a screenshot because it had personal information on it, so I had to crop that out. All right, let me do this, and then let me share my screen. Oh, that would help. Why is my screen not in here as a source? That's not good. Hold on, please. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I see that. I hate taxes. Don't remind me, Max. Well, thank you for the super chat, Crypto Crag. Very much appreciate it. 1234. Love it. All right, let me share my screen. I want the entire screen, and I want that one. And there we go. Okay, why is it not doing what I wanted to do? Oh, because I haven't done that yet. Because I have to add it to the scene. There we go. All righty. So yeah, this was not today. This was yesterday, and you can see that actually it's getting clipped. I have a 5 kilowatt inverter, and on rare days like yesterday, it's working extremely efficiently, and the sun is pure. It was very, very clear yesterday. So it's a little unusual for it to happen in March, but nice to see that actually happening. But yeah, due to the way that inverters work as far as efficiency, you actually want to do it where you actually under spec the inverter and do have a little bit of clipping, because the efficiency as it gets down to very, very low power is much worse the lower that power is. So if you had, like, say, if I did like a 7.5 kilowatt inverter, if I had only 1 kilowatt operating, that would be operating at a lower efficiency level than 1 kilowatt is on a 5 kilowatt inverter. And so, in other words, it would only be like 0.9, it'd be like 900 watts instead of 1 kilowatts. Anyway, won't go through all the math, but bottom line is, under-speccing the inverter is common knowledge in the industry. I know when I initially saw this happening, I was like, hey, what the heck? What did you guys do? And then I read up on it and said, yeah, this is actually better. But anyway, long story short. Who gave me a birthday present? Oh, thank you. Second TL, thank you very much for the super chat and the $10. And thank you for the happy birthday message. I appreciate that. But anyway, but yes, yesterday was 37.5 kilowatt hours. So definitely happy with that. Right now I'm mining at about 2.5 kilowatts. So let's do the math on that. 2.5 kilowatts, 2.5 times 24. So I'm about 60. So I covered not quite 2/3 of my, about 30%, about 60% of my mining was covered by solar energy yesterday. So not too shabby, not too shabby at all. Thank you, Joker Miner, for being a member. Very much appreciate it. 4 months. Wowzer. I know time flies, right? And you find as you get older, they fly a lot faster. But anyway, so anyway, but yeah, 37 and a half. Today was about 31. It was very kind of sun kind of peeked in and out, some thin clouds, basically, you know, took away some of it, but yeah, it's been sunny the last few days, so certainly will help the power bill. What's interesting about variable rate power though, is that there's so many people doing solar energy that when it is sunny out, it lowers the cost of energy during the day now, especially on days when the temperature is moderate and it's really sunny outside. The other thing I wanted to mention about this 37 and a half from 2 days ago, from yesterday, is that the lower the temperature of everything is, the more efficient it's going to run. So typically you wouldn't see in March, you would not, because if you had like a warm day where it was like 60 or 70 degrees out and sunny, you wouldn't see quite this amount of energy because the temperature's higher, therefore the efficiency on the solar panels is reduced somewhat. Not a ton. You really start seeing the reduction in efficiency on solar panels when you get to, you know, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. That's where you really start seeing a difference. So Overboard Texas, sell it to the grid during the day at full rate, buy it back off peak at a quarter on the dollar. That is true. Typically, well, first of all, I'm not even sure if Commonwealth Edison has a set peak and off peak power, like you typically would with a lot of other utilities. We have variable rate power, and that typically does do exactly that. It's just that right now, I haven't seen that recently. When you start getting into the summer, absolutely, that's what happens. The rate of power during the middle of the day is much higher, and so when you are mining, and you have excess power, like I did, you know, from 10 until I don't know 2, I have excess power. You know, again, anytime I'm over about 3 kilowatts. On most days, I'm going to have excess power. So I would be selling that back to the grid at that point. So anyway, but yeah, you'll see that during the day. Yes, it will be higher in price most of the time. S Ching. Let's go down to the bottom. All right, S Chang says, you said 37 kilowatt hours generation, but don't you think it covered all the day peak off peak usage versus your really low off peak rates? I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. So, like I said, I'm using 60 kilowatt hours to do my mining right now. Like I said, I'm about 2.5 kilowatts. So again, do the math, 2.5 times 24. That's going to give you your full day of usage. So anyway, so yeah, I know I see that. Joker Miner, thank you for the 4321 super chat. Happy birthday, Max. Reverse what Crypto Craig said. LOL. All righty, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat. Okay, so RC had an interesting question. You can only mine one altcoin and have to hodl it for a minimum of 24 months. What coin are you choosing? That's a very interesting question. So, yeah, you don't know how to do it? Okay, there you go. Sunflower Mom is still learning how to be a producer, but she did that. So thank you. What would I be mining if I had to hold it for 24 months? That's a really good question. You know, the obvious answer would be Flux, but due to the halving, due to the price, I don't know. It would either be Flux or Caspa. It'd be one of the two. Flux would still be where I'd be leaning on it, but due to it's a little bit more it's more energy intensive in mining it, and so I'd have to be thinking about the power cost as well. I can mine Caspa very, very efficiently, so yeah, I don't know. I'd probably do half and half is probably what I do. I'd probably put my more efficient miners on Flux, and then my less efficient ones maybe on Caspa. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, what was that? No, I know I am. I was just ready to say that. Anyway, Mining King, thank you very much. Welcome, first of all, and thank you for the super chat. Sorry, Joker. Happy birthday, General. Have a steak dinner on me. Well, thank you. Actually, that actually pays for our. I had sushi tonight, so and that's very expensive. But we decided that since I got home from work a little early, and everybody was home, that we would just do my birthday dinner tonight. So my vote was sushi. So I had sushi for dinner. There's a really, really good sushi place in town that's well regarded in the entire Chicago area as having great sushi and great food, and quaint little place. And so we got it from there, and I get the spicy trio, which is salmon, tuna, and crab. So crab is so good, so good, so good. All righty. Let me see if I can see what other comments there are. In fact, I'm going to switch over to the YouTube one because I can usually read that better because you guys can tag me. All righty. Geek of All Trades, Chicago sushi. Dang, going all in. Yeah, it is. It was very good. Very, very good. Oh, and thank you, Geek of All Trades, for gifting 5 Max Voltage and Crypto memberships. Very much appreciate that. And who are the lucky winners? We have Golden Wolf, Aragorn Strider, Network Bits, Andrew C., and Guillaume Plouffe. Guillaume. What did I say? Okay. I'm being criticized for my pronunciation. But anyway, congrats to all the new members. Appreciate Geek of All Trades doing that very much. And so for all those people that are new members, don't forget there is a spot in Discord where all my members are able to talk to me and talk to each other. So check that out as well. And yes, and thank you for the happy birthday message, Geek of All Trades, for my 39th birthday. Yeah, I guess we'll go with that. Anyway, Mining King, please. Now you're insulting me because you know I'm not 21. God, you know, us old guys, we talk about it like, man, if I only knew if I wish I would have known at 21 what I know now. That would be, and I'm not talking about, oh, well, yeah, if I'd known Bitcoin was going to go up, I would have bought some Bitcoin early on. Well, obviously that would be great. That's more about time travel than anything else. But I'm talking about just general knowledge. And what I will tell you is that, yes, if you're a youngin' out there in your 20s and you have somebody older in your family, or it's trying to give you advice based on their life experience, yes, it may not be right for you, but listen to their experiences and take something out of what they're talking about, because there is some real knowledge in people that are older than you and what they've learned. Because basically they're saying, please learn from my mistakes. Don't do what I did. That's what they're trying to say. That's all. Anyway. Well, thank you, Joker Miner, for gifting 5 more memberships. So now we have Magic Lucky, Fried Electronics, Northern Prospector, Diesel 846, and Crypto Hunter. So congratulations to all the winners. And thank you again, Joker Miner, for that. I appreciate that very, very much. All right, let me see if I missed any questions or anything that was tagged to me. I'm going up in the chat and see if I missed anything. So Oval Vortex says, I have 2 services, 2 meters, one fixed rate with PV, the other is 12-hour time of day. Interesting. Yeah, that would be, so if you're switching off between the 2 services based upon rate, that's pretty cool. I have not looked into that. I have looked into, well, I haven't looked into it yet, but we've talked about maybe putting a mining shed in the back. I haven't really decided on it yet. Obviously, be coming upon the time of year where we would need to be doing it if we were going to do it, but I just probably don't think that's in the cards this year. But we shall see. Oh, Argon Strider, if you are clipping now, wait until summertime. No, actually, because I'll clip in the summer sometimes, no question. But it's only if it's like 70 degrees out. As soon as it gets into the 80s and 90s, the efficiency of the solar panels goes down and basically won't clip anywhere near as much. So anyway, the max power I have on my system is 6 kilowatts. So it's not like I'm cutting off like, something going up to like 7.5 or 9 kilowatts. So anyway, let's see what else I might have missed. Oh, nice, Geek of All Trades. I have 13 hours of free energy on 2 mini box miners and a G1 mini today. Nice. Nice. Yeah, Geek of All Trades. The dollar hasn't been worth $1 in years. Yeah, I know. I love how they change the definition of inflation all the time, where they included the cost of housing to be like a ton of the cost of inflation. So since housing hadn't been going up a bunch, inflation remained very low. Now they're talking about changing the definition of inflation again as a way of, taking more housing out of it. Anyway, I don't know exactly how they're planning on changing it, but that was one of the things that was being discussed evidently. Yeah, I wasn't going to do it myself. I'm letting my dad do it. I don't have time to change it. But we have a place that's close in town that does the changes. We've had them do battery changes for us, and they're very reasonable. So yeah. So I'm going way back to when I was talking about the iPhone 6S. Okay. And Steven Cicero says, in Panda's video today, King said he would reveal Panda for 10 BTC. I say we pull it all and get it done. I think that was a joke. I don't think that was real. Anyway, I was surprised that they actually put that on the video because I figured somebody was going to take it seriously. Max, it's real. Red Panda says it's real. Well, if we do get 10 Bitcoin and maybe and he does a face reveal, maybe Panda will come to the actual Cypher Punk convention in Fort Lauderdale in September, using that as a transition. Let me bring that up. And oh, see, I thought it was 5 and 5. I swear I saw in the video 5. All right, there we go. Cypher Punk 2023, powered by Flux. It's a cool website, that's for sure. I do like that. So in 6 months, 1 days, 2 hours, 52 minutes, and 32 seconds, and counting down. And this is a countdown that actually works, unlike the crypto countdowns for halvings. But anyway, it's held at the venue in Fort Lauderdale, or will be held at the venue in Fort Lauderdale. And, some people were actually making comments about the price. If you've ever been to a Bitcoin conference, they usually don't have any trouble getting people there. And those are like over $1,000 a ticket. So if you take a look at the venue, the actual place that's called the venue, you will understand why, yes, it's going to be upscale. But it'll definitely be a good time. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, but it'll be fun. So I started initially saying I was going to be there. I would like to be there. Some personal things going on. I have to kind of evaluate whether or not I'm going to go. But anyway, I am definitely thinking about it and would definitely like to. But anyway, long story short, I may or may not be there, but definitely looking at it. But anyway, check it out. Jeff Key did say that we are good to go. You can, order your flights, reserve your flights. This is a definite go. This isn't like the other one where they could find out something else. They checked everything that was around and such. So Alexander Fleener says, did you see that Florida Governor DeSantis said no to CDBC? Yes, I did. And honestly, that's like the Florida governor deciding that, and it's not the same thing, but it's on the same level, saying no to the US dollar and deciding to create his own currency. That's kind of the same thing. If the US government decides that CDBC is going to be a thing, it's not like the state can just say, no, I don't think we're going to allow the currency of the United States government to be allowed in our state. That's pretty ridiculous. So, yeah, he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's outside his realm. Needs to, at least in this case, I don't like the term stay in your lane, but in this particular case, it applies. Stay in your lane, Governor DeSantis. This is not something that you should be involved in. But anyway, thank you, Network Bits, for the $5 super chat. Meatball Ron 2024. Yeah. Hey, I can think of worse nicknames, that's for sure. I think Trump didn't hit on a good enough nickname for him. I have a feeling he'll probably come up with a few others. He always does. Anyway, it is interesting though, because a number of my right-wing friends have kind of basically said, I'm not sure about Trump this time. So I'm happy to hear that myself. I'm not a Trump fan. Would like to see somebody else from the conservative party come to the forefront and make Trump irrelevant again. Yes. Anyway, Mining King says he'll shave the beard for 1 BTC. Wow. Wow. The beard's worth that little to you, huh? Yeah, I'd grow one for 1 BTC. Yeah, I definitely would. I agree. I've had a beard in the past. Well, you guys, if you saw any of my early videos, I had a beard at that point. So it's not like you don't know what I look like with a beard. Basically, very gray in here. It definitely makes me old. Makes me look old, I should say. It doesn't change my age, but it makes me look my age. Anyway, alrighty. Well, let's let me see. What was functioning adult? Oh, we want a functioning adult 2024. Totally agree. Yes, I love that. Yeah. Yes, it'd be nice if we got somebody who wasn't 80 years old. You know, the oldest president we had prior to this one was like in his 70s. And Biden is now the oldest president. Elected to his first term. I don't remember if Reagan was as old as Biden is now during his second term. But either way you look at it, Biden running again would be the oldest president. If he was elected, would be the oldest president. And Trump would, if he was elected, would only be second to Biden. We need some people that
aren't old white guys.
Aren't. Well, Sunflower Mama says not old white guys, but definitely not old guys, not old guard. But anyway, all right. So, Geek of All Trades says, was it a Fu Manchu? No, it was not a Fu Manchu. It was just a full-on beard. Crypto Perk says, I will shave my whole body for 1 PTC. That's way more information than I wanted. But anyway, New England Crypto says, every time I learn something new, one beard hair turns gray. It's all knowledge. Sure, I'll go with that. Alrighty. All right, so let's see, what else did I say I was going to talk about? So I just kind of put a couple of notes down here. What am I currently mining? I'm currently mining Caspa and Dynex, and I have a bag of Caspa right now, and I'm comfortable with that bag. I'm not growing that bag at this point. I'm kind of just seeing where things go with the coin, deciding what I'm going to do. So in the meantime, I'm just holding that bag and cashing out everything in buying something else. So in this particular case, I am cashing it out and I'm buying Litecoin. So I'm trying to get to the point where I get to around 10 Litecoin. So all of my free cash well, I should say initially all my free cash was going towards Flux. But now I'm at the point where I have enough and want to diversify a little bit. I have a lot of Flux. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of Flux. It's a higher percentage of my holdings than it probably should be. So I'm comfortable with where that is right now. So my next thing I'm going to be buying is Litecoin. So like I said, I'm bringing that up to a certain level, certain percentage. So that's where I'm taking all my Caspa and my Dynex earnings, as well as my free cash earnings, and moving that into a Litecoin. So with that said, free cash. I know you guys have heard me talk a lot about it. And I know on Saturday Night Live, King brought up a lot of great points about free cash, about things to be careful of. And so kind of wanted to go through some of that. So if you click on earn, you're going to see all of these featured offers, which unfortunately, well, here, let me, bring the screen back up. Why is Joker Miner? Joker, are you on the top of the list for the day? Is that what you're saying? Anyway, so I hate it when it does this. I don't know why it does this, but it does. There we go. So here are all of the deals in here. So the gaming things, they're kind of silly as far as I'm concerned, but you do get paid for them and you can have ways of doing things. Like if we take dice streams, for instance. So all I did was the install, the first Kingdom Restored, which is really easy to do. And then there's a point at which you can pay like $1, which I had leftover Google points. So I just use those Google points that I wouldn't have used anyway, to purchase something in game to make the $5. So I made basically like just over $5 in this game. Not a ton, but this type of thing is safe. It's not a big deal. They're paying for you to watch ads. That's all it is. So basically get in, get out, make a little bit of money on these. The other things I have done have been a lot of the deposits. So Acorn, that was the latest one I did. Go to Bank. I've done the sports books. So anyway, all of these are just standard apps, and you're just getting paid to use those apps. The things to watch out for, though, are the quizzes. Don't really recommend these because they're going to ask you, a lot of times they'll ask you personal questions and things like that, surveys, all that kind of stuff. Really be careful on these. Joker Miner says your B-Day is expensive. Gonna have to rob more banks. Need money. Oh, you weren't talking about that one? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I have it on a no active Windows machine. You have free cash on a non-active Windows machine? Oh, you just mean you have no personal information on it. It's just, there's nothing on it. So the only thing you do on it is that. Well, again, as long as you're not answering questions that can identify yourself, That's why, you know, they're asking you, where do you live? What's your age? What's your race? You know, all these, and what's your age? All of these things can narrow down who you are pretty quickly. So just something to be aware of. But these are the types of things where I would be really, really wary of. The other thing is you can also look at any of the time you're doing the surveys. In fact, let me go to Earn. So these survey partners, I'm not saying they're bad or anything like that. I'm just saying be very cautious. You're giving out personal information. While it's not you're not giving out your name. Again, the information you're providing could be doxing. So just be aware of that. That's all. Well, again, there are some good things. You said stop promoting the crap. My point is that a lot of this you can make money at. And I'm bringing this up because I've brought it up in the past. So I want to show you certain things to be cautious of. You know, so anyway, but yeah, signing up for DoorDash or signing up for Uber delivery, those types of things. I think it makes sense to do those things because they're very, very easy ways of getting a payout and making a few extra bucks. So anyway, point being is that some of this is easy money, and why not take advantage of it? Like I said, I've been able to expand my crypto earnings. You know, the way that they're thinking about it is, especially like the sports book sites, they're trying to reel you in. It's like any casino. They're trying to, trying to see if they can get you hooked, so that you would continue to come back as a customer, just like any other casino would. And eventually they figure you're going to lose and they're going to make money off of you. I didn't do that. Basically, I bet, I left my money in their system until I got the payout, and then I pulled it out. So that's what I'm doing. I still have one more sports book that I'm waiting for a payout for because they didn't pay out. And that's the other thing. Got to keep track of those things. I've had to appeal. I've won every appeal that I've had so far. So just be aware of that. Keep track of things. But up until the last one I did, which was really silly, I did a hearts game and it paid out like $4 or something. I spent an inordinate amount of time grinding at that thing. It was probably spent, I don't know, 5-6 hours. Now I enjoy playing hearts, but towards the end I did not enjoy playing hearts. So anyway, yeah, so just take it for what's worth. Just be careful with the site. And I would say, like I said, anything having to do with survey that asks personal questions, that type of thing. But the things that are, things that you recognize, like I said, Acorns, well-known product. I know Robinhood's been on here before. I haven't seen it now, but I know it's been on here. FanDuel, DraftKings, these are all brand names that they take you to their website or the app, and they just link your initial sign up to free cash so that you can get paid out in points, which can then be either converted to regular dollars or be converted into crypto. So anyway, enough said about that, but I definitely wanted to take a few minutes to say, be careful on the site. A lot of this stuff is not well, I don't think free cash really evaluates what they have on the site closely enough. So yeah, it's buyer beware on some of the offers. So keep an eye out on that. All right, enough about that. And let's see. I pretty much covered everything there. Let's go to any additional questions out there. Let me see here. Let's go over to here. What country is free cash from? That's a good question, actually. well, he asked a question about it. So, I honestly don't know. Let's see. Let's look at the frequently asked questions. They probably don't even tell you. There's not an about. There's a contact. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure. All I can say is I've reliably, when I ask for a payout, I get a payout. And honestly, that's the thing that concerns me the most about it. Hash force facts. So Retromite Crypto is an anti-Kaz fangirl. Geek of All Trades was asking what's the ad watching app on free cash. Yeah, basically you go into Lootably. Basically would go into earn and then go into offer partners Lootably, and then there's a spot in there where you can actually you go. So well, here I'm going to share my screen again so I can show you what basically how you get into it. So let me back out of this. So basically you're in earn, you go down to offer partners, you go to Lootably, and then you click on videos. And I don't know why, but free cash has been loading really slow. And then you click on one of these to watch. Food and do it yourself seem to pay out better than gaming, from my experience. So I basically just generally just stick to food. In fact, food I've got playing on my third monitor right now. So anyway, that's what you can do. This is what I've been doing for the longest time since DJ Mines brought it to my attention. So yeah, I mean, you make like 50 cents a day regularly. So $15 a month doesn't cost you anything. You just leave it running. So anyway, that's what I keep running, and that's what I've been doing all along. All right, so let me remove that. All righty. What other questions do you guys have? Does it make you hungry? Yes. Yes, it does at times. Yeah, something like just doing something that I'll look up. If you ever see me, well, I guess I don't usually have my camera on or anything when we're in chat, but yeah, I'll look up and be like, oh, wow, that looks really, really good. Because it's a lot of baking and sweets and things like that. So yes, it does make me hungry from time to time. Yeah, out of 60, so put a 21 in the chat if you are mining Dynex right now. I know I am mining Dynex on one of my rigs, on my AMD rig. Although I am seriously thinking about selling my 5700 XTs. You know, I've been saying that. I haven't done anything about it yet. It's because that means I got to clean them and I got to replace a few fans. Yeah, it's just a hassle to sell GPUs. It's just easier to let them mine. So I'm lazy when it comes to that. Anyway, so we got, all right, Mining King. The instructions were, if you are mining Dynex, put a 21 in the chat and you put a 12. I know you're just trolling me. So does the videos running affect your bandwidth usage with / against flux nodes? Technically, I would suppose it would, but again, it's a download. It's not an upload. So I've got 1.2 gig down. So my download speed is not, it's not an issue for me as far as running nodes. Upload's the only thing that would be an issue. And so it does not affect that at all. In fact, speaking of that, you know, if I run like a speed test right now, it'll be close to 40 megabits per second upload. And that's with a number of nodes running. They have reduced the bandwidth requirement for an idle node. It doesn't take anywhere near the amount of bandwidth that it used to. So yeah, it's a lot easier to run nodes at home than it used to be. So anyway, how many do you have? How many what do I have, Patrick Murphy? And if you're asking me how many nodes I have, I will plead the fifth on that one. Anyway, let's just say I need to keep that on the down low as far as how many I have running. And CryptoBurk says, get version 2.2.3 of SRB Miner as it almost doubled my hash rate from version 2.1. And I think I have 2.2, but I know you said that's on a 570. I'm curious as to what it does to the 5700 XT. Oh, how many 5700 XTs do I have? I have 6. Sustainable Crypto says, my Cumulus node keeps going offline. Any ideas? I'm not sure what the timing of it is, but typically that's usually a routing issue. And so what has happened with some people's routing is that they'll set up UPnP, but somehow it expires, and as opposed to being like infinite. Supposedly there was a fix put in place, so I'm not sure how long ago you were having these issues, but they did put a fix in place that changed how they were doing the infinite time frame for UPnP. But typically when your nodes are going offline, it's a router issue. Well, it's a router and node issue combined. It's how the router is implementing, implemented UPnP, and how the node is communicating to the router that UPnP is active or not active. What it was doing before is it would just send a message with time to live of 0, meaning infinite, but not all routers view that definition that way. So what would be happening is after 4 or 5 hours, it would die. And that's because the router would shut off, would basically say, well, it's dead now. The time to live is expired, so therefore it's dead. So restarting the router and getting that back to sometimes would you have to rejigger it, or restarting the router and then restarting your node would restart it as well. But doing that, 4 times a day is not practical. So that would be where I would start. Again, not all routers are created equal. It's a matter of finding a router that works reliably. I have a TP-Link AX11000, I think is what it's called. Not cheap, but works well. If I had to do over again, I might have gotten Ubiquity, possibly, but I don't know. What I've got now is working, and I'm not going to change it for the time being. So, Mining King member for 12 months. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Maybe it's time for them to get rid of UPnP. Just saying. You're not just saying. You said it. But anyway, yeah, that would be nice. Oval Vortex says the UPnP requirement rubs me the wrong way for Flux nodes. I have a commercial firewall, so I have to do tons of port configs for a single node. Yeah, I mean, when before UPnP went into effect and you were only able to run one node, you had to do a ton of port forwards. And that was the other thing I found out, was that some routers don't handle ranges of port forwards well as well. So like my previous router ignored the range. So yeah, that was quite frustrating. Pineapple Pizza. So no more Raspberry Pi? No, I still have 2 Raspberry Pis sitting in front of me that are running nodes. So yeah, I do have 2 Raspberry Pis running nodes. And Mr. Hawk Crypto coming in with the $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciate it. And whoa, Mr. Chili coming in with the $50 super chat. Happy birthday, my friend. Well, thank you. I very, very much appreciate that. Yeah, and thank you for the job lead. I know it didn't work out, but I appreciated the job lead, so thank you. Alrighty. Any other final questions? I'm looking to see if I might be missing anything. They late to the party. I don't really call it a party, but yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, I was so tired. I didn't get my normal catch-up sleep on the weekend. And I stayed up too late last night playing games like I normally do on Sunday nights, because I like to delay the onset of Monday morning as long as possible. And so I paid for that today. So I came home from work and started falling asleep. Um, Mr. Hot Crypto coming in with another $10. I meant to say happy birthday. LOL. Sorry, Pop. And the veteran miner coming in. Happy birthday, General. Well, thank you, sir. Salute to you, Mr. Veteran Miner. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I wasn't a general in real life. I just only played one on Call of Duty. Actually, it wasn't even Call of Duty that got me that name. It was PUBG, because I was so bad at PUBG when I first started. I'm still not great at PUBG by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not as bad as I used to be. Anybody who's played either Call of Duty or PUBG knows I find my little hidey holes and I camp and snipe and all that kind of stuff. The kind of players that people hate, and then they just like come up behind me and stab me. Anyway, yeah, Mining King putting in his nice troll saying I'm epic at PUBG. LOL. Blue Dragon, thank you very much for the happy birthday. I appreciate that. I'm going to be able to buy a GPU now. I haven't even been keeping track. Oh wow, yeah, it's been going up there in price. Well, thank you guys, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll be able to pay off my chair now. Anyway, so actually, speaking of that, one of the things that you guys know have known about my hip, as I mentioned it before, but it's been doing a lot better. I've learned that it's related to my back. I have a bad hip regardless, but my back was contributing factor. And now that I have a good chair at work and a good chair at home, it's made a difference over time where, I used to limp most of the day, and now I'm not doing that. I'm able to walk pretty much completely normally. So it's definitely been a lot better. So, like I said, they bought the chair for me at work. I bought the chair for me at home. For anybody that hasn't seen it, this is a custom steel case chair from Crandall Office Furniture. Can't recommend. I totally recommend them. Love this chair. Basically, they make remanufactured office chairs. This is a steel case chair. It's a Leap V2. And they basically put new cushions on it and put new fabric on it, put in a new pole, whatever you call it, hydraulic, whatever. Anyway, but basically it makes it feel like a brand new chair. And they sell it for a fraction of the cost of new. Well, about half the cost of new. And but because I got custom, I was able to get it so it actually is a max voltage chair. It actually has my logo on it. It has a flannel pattern on it, which you can kind of see it there. See part of it. I'm not going to change the camera, but you get the idea. So love this thing. A little splurge around Christmas time for myself. But like I said, I knew I needed to make a change on the chair. But the chair that Sunflower Mama is currently sitting in is a torture machine. Anyway, so I had actually stolen a rocking chair for a while, and that helped too as well. So, but anyway, first of all, Iowa Crypto Miner, nobody has to donate nothing here. I appreciate the happy birthday. So you're so thank you, sir. I appreciate that as much as everything else. Hello, I'm Chili says, does your milkshake brings all the boys to the yard? I'm not even sure where that came. I'm sure I missed something higher up in the chat. Anyway, oh, I see. Okay, yeah, you guys are talking about the trip and all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, well, I hope you are all the people that were not feeling well. Hawk, Mining King, Panda, hope you guys are all feeling better. Yeah, it sucks to have sinus issues. Oh, you guys all have COVID. Oh my God. All right. Well, take care of yourself. That sucks. That really sucks. But see, that is exactly why I am debating on whether or not I will be going to. I know none of them wore masks. I get that, but anyway, we'll see. We'll have to kind of see how risky it is at that point. I cannot afford to infect Sunflower Mama. I just can't. So, anyway, alrighty. Well, you guys are all talking amongst yourselves. And I've been going for longer than an hour, so I am going to cut off the stream. I'll let the chat go for a little while since you guys are talking, and that's perfectly fine. Thank you guys all for being here. Sorry I didn't have more of my standard agenda. It was just kind of a little bit of a crazy weekend, and I'll be back to regular content next week, when it is actually going to be Sunflower Mama's birthday next week. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Way too fast for you. Says, any thoughts on ramping into crypto and off ramping spending profits with the banking stuff? If I understand what you're trying to say, see, so on ramping into crypto and off ramping. So you're not talking about mining, you're just talking about buying and selling. Yes, hard to say. Crypto's not a bad place to be right now. Do I think there's going to be crazy profits like the one guy said of Bitcoin going to $1 billion? Nope. Could I see Bitcoin maybe even going up as high as like 40,000? Sure. In the short term. If it went up to like 35 to 40,000, if that happened, I would be selling some myself and I'd be waiting for another downturn. I think as I mentioned before, I think, again, not financial advice, this is just my personal opinion. I think that we're going to be in the 24 to 30,000 range at the end of the year, which again isn't bad. I mean, when I said that, we were in the $17,000 range. So we're already there, and this is where I think we're going to be towards the end of the year. And then next year we'll start, I don't know exactly when, but we'll start moving towards the bull market. And again, the bull market, as is defined, is when you hit your previous high. Basically, the bull market doors are when you basically vault past that last resistance point. Okay. Once you get past that, sky's the limit, and that's when you see the real run up. That probably won't happen until the very earliest next year. So I'm predicting next year probably be somewhere in the $60,000 to $70,000 range towards the end of the year, possibly start hitting the bull market and start the run up towards the end of the year, possibly. Again, this isn't rocket science. This is looking at past historical trends where, when you look at the halvings, where do the bull markets start? As much as I don't like BitBoy, and a lot of people don't like BitBoy, BitBoy had it right in the money. A year before the bear market, the downturn started, he said, it was total clickbait, which I get, but it was true. He said it was like in August of 20. I'm trying to remember what the timing was. I think it was August of 2021. He said, I'm selling all my Bitcoin in September. It wasn't that September, but it was the following September. Now, I don't know if he actually ended up doing that, but he made a video saying he was going to. And if you look historically, I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember if it was 2020 into 2021 or 2021 into 2022, whichever it was at a historical high at that point. And so he had it right in the money. And all he was doing that was basing that on previous cycles. So I'm basing my predictions on what's happened in previous cycles. So will this be a different cycle than the past? Possibly. Could different things happening in the world affect crypto beyond what the normal cycles are? Sure, absolutely. But I'm basing it on the dollar staying stable, and that's what I think is going to happen. So there might be a little bit of dollar destabilization possibly with the banking crisis. Don't know for sure. Anyway. All right, enough of that. Hawk, thank you very much for gifting 10 max voltage mining and crypto memberships. And let's see who were the lucky winners. We have Sloth Squatch, Hash Force, Pineapple Pizza, Ted, SoxFan96, King Mining, Marvin Medina, Mark Gurr, Mustafa Elgamel, and Nick Roberts. Congrats to all. And again, thank you, Hawk Crypto, for gifting those. I very much appreciate it. And those are a bunch of new names. So welcome all you guys. Appreciate you guys coming. Love to see new names in the chat. Don't be a stranger. Ask questions. If you have any, we are all friends here and welcoming. Geek of All Trades, it's all about the generational wealth to me. My kids are going to be able to get loans against the BTC I am mining today. Yeah, that's true. And that, honestly, that's what I think keeps a lot of us here, is the fact that, yeah, okay, fine, it has its ups and downs, but yeah, do you want to risk missing out on the run up that you know is coming? So yeah. Now the next downturn, I might do things a little bit differently, at least sell half. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have that much as it is, because I was selling along the way, selling a portion. I was kind of like the, not that I have as much as Red Fox does as far as mining capacity, but I was taking that line of thinking, which was sell half of the profits, and use them in everyday life. So anyway, Crypto, salute to Blue Eyes and a perfect hairline. Yes. Thank you, sir. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you guys again for coming. I appreciate it. And I will see you again on Saturday Night Live, as well as next Monday for Mondays with Max. And actually, oh, okay. Everybody's saying happy birthday, peace. So you guys all have a wonderful night.